So I'm not afraid of more, but everything we've been saying is now exactly what they said on the show. And it's just like when Laura said on our podcast, she's like, this is the nail in the coffin. She's going to reveal the nail in the coffin with Margaret, but she's like, it's not one thing. It's the same thing. Like, you can say that my friendship with Margaret, that Margaret kicked me to the curb like a stale crust of bread because I'm doing my job and I'm having Laura on the podcast. The bottom line to me is the real shift in what started, the demise of our friendship is that Melissa was in the back of a car kissing Nick. That happened. Right. And the minute I said that, instead of just David speaking his truth, he's entitled to his opinion.
Right.
Instead of that, in her mind, it was like, I am Team Teresa and Jenna. That was a strike against Margaret because Margaret's out there saying it didn't happen because she has to, because she looks bad for having a big mouth and telling her friend of 40 years.
Correct.
So the minute that I went on this national platform, because you can go listen to all the old things and all the videos on YouTube, that was, she couldn't control the narrative. I wasn't just, you and I said a million times, Margaret, we don't blame you for telling your best friend of 40 years.
Of course not. Of course not. It's not a big deal that you told your friend.
But
it's not a big deal.
Right? But the fact that I was against her side, and I'm going to reveal here, which I don't think I ever revealed, she called me when the videos went up. She called me, the phone rang. Now, I hadn't heard from Margaret, and this is like, again, you could say, some people will say, you're disloyal. Why are you doing this? A, I'm doing my job. B, it's not like we're best friends where we spoke every minute of the day. Like, if she wants to paint a narrative that we were like, I was sick and I had COVID and you brought me chicken soup. I mean, I don't know what your definition, I don't know what everyone else's definition of a friend is, but like, that wasn't happening. So
no.
And I didn't even never say anything bad about her, but I spoke my truth. But then she called me and she's like, Tom, that's the little PR bitch. Tom is really upset that I'm like, Tom is not really that. I mean, he's upset, which I don't give a fuck who the fuck is this little piece of shit. But you're the one that's upset because me having this show out there is against your narrative that you're trying to now say it didn't happen. Girl, I'm sorry. You do you, but I'm speaking to all these lovely people that are listening. I have to tell the truth. And I know that this happened. So that really was, it has nothing, Laura coming on the podcast. Yes.
No, that was just the nail in the coffin. Exactly. That was the nail in the, but Margaret, if all this wasn't true and Laura was just saying all these lies, why do you get so hot under the collar? The veins pop out of your neck. You carry on every time somebody brings it up. Again, I'm going to say, if someone was saying something about me that wasn't true, I'd laugh it off. Yep. All true. Yep. I have a big mouth. Yep. But that's not what happened. She freaks every time Laura's name gets brought. Freaks out. That is a sign of guilt. I don't care what anyone says. Because if it's not true, you laugh it off. You laugh it off. Now, even last night with Joe Gorga.
I have an example. Everyone has been saying that I'm afraid of Margaret. I'm looking and I laugh. I'm like, LOL. I'm like, do I seem upset about that? Like, if something is so not true, you don't get upset. But go on.
Right. Absolutely. So Joe, they're on a gag order. So when Andy Cohen was asking Joe Gorga in the audience questions, he'd just nod, make faces, showing Andy Cohen, his boss, like, I'm on a gag order, so I'm not talking. I personally think they were so disrespectful to Andy last night. I had to bring that up before that because I get these thoughts in my head. When she said to Andy, are you a therapist? You have a license, all that. Like, you don't talk to your boss like that. That's horrible. I mean, I don't think he said anything wrong. He asked her the questions from what was on the episode that night. I think they cooked their goose last night. Whoa. They are whoa.
It's like she knows. I know. They know. I mean, if anyone thinks, listen, I sit up here every week and I say, I think like a producer. Like when I say in week 2 that Lisa Rinna is going to be fired, it's like, you have to think ahead. If I have the mind like this, if my mind, I do, I got it. Imagine Andy Cohen, the genius, he knows seasons before he sees it. So you always have to watch Andy. He doesn't try. He tries to act. I think he's bad at it. You can tell when someone is like Andy. Let me tell you something about Andy. Do you want to know something about Andy who used to, when I lived downtown, he lived right there. Andy is about Andy. He loves the Countess. He still fired her. He loves Sonia. He's still fired.
1000%.
Just because he likes you doesn't mean anything. So you always have to watch him.
He's a businessman. He's a businessman. Taking my bathrobe off again. Hold on.
Okay,
he's a businessman. He's going to do what he wants to do and what's good for the show. Come on.
And when he knows, he doesn't mean, I do the same thing. When you're not coming on my podcast, I don't want to be your friend, housewife. It's a business. So when you're really done, of course, he still loves Luann. He sees her all the time in the Hamptons.
Of course.
You could tell when he writes you off in his mind, and then he has to do his job for the season. But Andy knows. If you watch him with Melissa, he knows it's over.
Oh God,
it is over.
Yeah. That's why he said, I don't feel or see that there will be a resolution on the stage. He knows already. They're filming it April 20th. He knows.
He basically sat there and said to her in her face, "You're fired. I'm telling you to your face."
And also, what do you think? He doesn't talk to Teresa. He knows how Teresa feels about them. He knows it all.
After 10 years.
Yeah.
After 10 years.
Listen, be grateful for the ride, guys. Walk out with some dignity. Walk away with dignity.
Little PR
like the Wakilis did. Look at the Wakilis walked away with dignity. They really did. You never heard them slam the show. You never heard them slam. They walked away with dignity, and they're living their life large. They have a large life. They're in Italy. They're in Greece. They went to his country. I mean, they just bought beautiful property on the lake in Franklin Lakes. You go, Wakilis. They walked away with dignity. Gorgas just got another picture of their house. It's even more ripped down, David.
Really?
They ripped more. People are driving past now, sending me pictures. And they have it was over 3 weeks. I don't know about now, but there was no permits. My mother's house was in Franklin Lakes. You don't know what it took for me to sell that house. I had to fix everything on the outside. Like there's septic tanks, there's woods. I went for so much money fixing up the outside, the environmental, before I could sell the house. It was brutal. Franklin Lakes is tough. They got their hands full over there. They got their hands full.
The permits are just stalled?
I guess so. I don't know.
So
listen, it took a long time for me to get permits too. Just for the outside, never mind the inside.
And by the way, so you spend 6 weeks showing your kitchen, your bathroom, and now it's just show us the honesty. Just show us the honesty of what's really happening.
Yep, I agree.
You do all this and there's things sitting there like a piece of shit.
Listen,